um, uh, the Chief Justice with regard to the demolition of the Shantytown homes. And then this information came out about this Privy Council ruling as relates to citizenship in the Bahamas that has some serious implications as it relates to our Constitution. So I'm like, Lord, 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 I got to find a way to talk about both. So I'm going to dedicate half of the show to talk about the Shantytown ruling and half of the show to talk about the citizenship ruling, because both are just so critically important. And you know, I figured I have to address the citizenship thing. We have to talk about that. So anyway, real quick, how do you get up to be a part of the show? Easy. Call us at 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. You can WhatsApp us at 8010271, 8010271. And the WhatsApp number is for text messages and calls. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 Facebook pages. You can also catch us on our official channels on YouTube. And we're also airing on Cape of Bahamas channel 974, and of course on radio on your dial 99.5 FM Global Radio. All right. That being said, it's time for me to bring my two guests into the stream. Let's see how we do this. Okay, I see you, Joseph Darville. Welcome. I see Alan Johnson. Welcome. There you go. Now we have everybody on the screen. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Thank you once again for having me.
Hey, see Alan Johnson, Michelle, pleasant good afternoon. Good afternoon, Bahama land.
Joseph Darville, every time I see you, you look younger and younger. You still ain't tell us where you find out the fountain of youth, but that's
well,
right.
you know, I really don't have. I always put it. I don't have time to age.
Oh, that's what the secret is.
Yep, yeah, definitely. I love my people and my country too much, so I guess the good Lord is keeping me around for a particular reason. So I just accept that and allow it to happen spontaneously.
Well, whatever.
So thank you for asking me to come on, and I'm so happy to be on with this incredible, erudite, this intelligent, phenomenal person. Not you, Michelle. See Alan Johnson.
That's the 50% Long Island in me.
No, his head big enough as it is. You want to make that bigger? No,
Lord. You know, Michelle, it's amazing because when you mention these two particular aspects of phenomenon that you're talking about today, I have never seen such an interruption, a discombobulation as we have had in this particular year of 50 years of independence. It seems like we're all thrown into this mess of a pot of stew. And how we're going to come out with this, only God knows.
Well, I can tell you what happens, right? Prior preparation would prevent our piss poor performances. So what we have to do now is we got to still have a few more months to prepare. And I think, believe it or not, what this does is that it's kind of like Dorian came through. It shows our weaknesses. And the question is, are we going to sit still or are we going to look at what it is that we need to repair to go into the next 50 years? And so I'm looking forward to the next 50 years with excitement, with technology, artificial intelligence, the citizenship issue we're going to talk about, the new housing issue, everything right now. It seems as if though the spirit of the forefathers are sending a message to us to it's time to stop doing the same old.
So what y'all want to tackle first? Y'all want to tackle the citizenship issue first, or y'all want to tackle the because Joe didn't even expect me to come here today to talk about citizenship because I invited him here to talk about the Shantytown situation. And then
let's do the Shantytown, because for me, right? I would say let's do the Shantytown and let's go into the context. And let me start this off. The Shantytown issue has nothing to do with immigration.
Please explain.
We use people, the citizenship of individuals living into Shantytown as an excuse, as a reason to attack the Shantytown issue. That is not the issue. In the Shantytown is Bahamians, the Bahamians in waitings that they call them, generations of things. The Shantytown is not an issue that just arose in the last 3 years. Because the Shantytown moved from one place, one due to a storm, to another location, only shows you that this is not an immigration issue. This is a housing issue. Forget the fact that right now we go into the Shantytown, and let's put it that 1/3 of the individuals in the Shantytown are illegal migrants. Where is the solution for the other 2/3? So, in 50 years, we have failed to come up with a social housing strategy. In 50 years, we have failed to come up with an executable low-cost housing strategy. For 50 years, we have failed to come up with an affordable housing strategy. And for 50 years, we have failed to come up with an attainable housing strategy that is what you see is decimating in the price battle that's happening in the middle class. Social housing is for senior citizens, the disabled, the disenfranchised, the type of things and incidents that pop up on occasions that put you to need the temporary housing. The low-cost housing is for the lower 20 to 25% percentile. And let me explain what the percentile is. Generally speaking, you take the GDP of a country or the earnings in a particular area, and you divide it into 5. And you look at who is making 20% of this GDP, 40%, 60%, etc., or whatever configuration you want to do it, divided by 7, divided by 6, or whatever. And so social housing covers the first 2 percentiles. The low-cost housing covers the second and third. Affordable housing covers the third and fourth. And attainable housing covers the fourth and fifth. Luxury housing covers the fifth, maybe the sixth, and ultra luxury covers that. That is a definition in all developed and developing countries, so you could begin to classify individuals. When we talk about the Shantytown issue, Joe, we could go right here in Freeport and Marco City and Pine Ridge, 8 Mile Rock, Louisiana, Marktown, or whatever, and meet houses that conditions are less than the homes in the Shantytown right now. I'm talking about quality of the house, the safety, the windows, doors, and the rudimentary things. So when we begin to talk about the Shantytown, it's more of an argument that these are illegally built homes. Shantytowns are no longer, if you look at Abaco and look at some of the places, are no longer exclusively the type of the Shantytown, the definition that we use by looking at Haiti or Jamaica or whatever it is. It is no longer that. Look at the homes that's being built there. These are, literally speaking, millions of dollars are being poured into these Shantytowns for the constructions of these homes. These are, you could argue, an irregular type building type environment. And then you go, why is the people, I want you to think about this. There's no mortgage in the Shantytown. If I could find an affordable housing or low-cost housing for $700 a month, that's $7,800 a month. Times that by 10 years, that's 78,000. Times that by 4 years, and that's $240,000. Why would I take $100,000 or whatever it is to go build a place in the bush or whatever you want to call it, if I can find affordable housing and maximize my dollars in an investment or something else, or even building a home or something? So we're not having in context, what we have done allow is the convolution of saying we have an illegal immigration problem. Yes, we do. That's a standalone problem. But the illegal immigration is now all within our inner cities. All in some cases, illegal immigration is in Lightfoot Key and Old Fort Bay.
Okay, let's get Joe in on this conversation. Joe, what are your thoughts about the ruling and about what Cialan just said?
Well, I always regard the erudite minds, legal minds, with a great amount of respect,
Mhm.
because I think they know the law inside out. And when the judge can say that only two of these homes should be demolished, I think putting my head around what C. Allen Johnson has just said, the fact is that you cannot connect all through the Bahamas shanty town with illegal residents, because so many of Bahamians live in what they call a shanty town mentality, for the simple reason that when you have some 30 to 40% of our population still living at or below poverty level, what C. Allen has just said, that would carry this whole phenomenon through, so that you can't. If you say that you're going to root up the shanty town, they're not all there occupied by illegal aliens or individuals or Haitians or whatever. Many Bahamians are in there. And so before there's any destructions of these particular living accommodations for the people, one has to go in there very meticulously and to find out whether or not there are bona fide Bahamian citizens living in those particular areas. And if there are, then you need to deal with them in terms of providing them with the necessary means by which they can live in proper housing conditions. And if you do find illegals in there, then you deal with them accordingly, according to the law. But you just can't go and bulldoze down all of these so-called shanty towns. Like he said, they are here. They're in Pinders Point. They're in Lewis Yard. They're in 8 Mile Rock. They're in West End. And so all throughout New Providence, in Luther, well, some in Luther too, in Abaco and in Grand Baham, Nassau, you have this phenomenon. And so it has to be looked at in a very humane, comprehensive manner. And until we're able to provide a better standard of living for all of our people in our country, the little over 400,000, where 1% of the population owns 99% of the wealth, then you have this discombobulated inequity that has to be corrected. And it's a human right problem. It ties in with the human rights of the Bahamian people. And we have to look at it in that way. And this is why the Bahamas over those many years has gotten a bad grade, a below D grade when it comes to human rights in the country. I mean, if you look at the committee now that's been appointed, this is being forced upon our government to do that. And I do salute the Prime Minister for actually beginning the process. But, those heads that being in Parliament or in the Senate, they know very little about the fundamental human rights. So they have to be able to garner people who've been working with human rights in the Caribbean area, throughout the world, in the Bahamas for many years, to know fundamentally what are the fundamental rights of Bahamians. And so this whole thing is so discombobulated. And I think it took the wise judge a long time to consider exactly how he was going to declare a statement or outcome of that particular predicament.
But Michelle, let me say this. Dr. Darville, not the doctor, but the Joseph Darville is sitting there. We have to understand that when you talk about human rights, and we just appointed this committee and we just did a report, housing is a human right. But we're not having that conversation. And let me say to you, the government of the Bahamas knows this. And so what we are having now is a tale of smoke and mirrors. There's no way you could tell me these learned people do not know property law and contract law. The problem is, if they were to enforce or file the proper paperwork to deal with this, as hinted by Mr. Fred Smith, when he said that you all never moved to take possession of the property. Taking possession of the property creates a crisis that the government is not prepared to deal with, which is a human right, and is housing. Because let's use an example. No house built on Crown land belongs to anybody except the government. That's contract law. When you lease a piece of property, all improvements you build on that property is that of the landlord. So that means every house that is built in the Bahamas on Crown land is the property of government. If the government was to file to take possession of the properties, and the reason I want people to understand how simple it is to supposedly deal with the shanty town. If the government was supposed to go in and violate all the leases that is not meeting the requirement of the lease for the help of Crown land, immediately government all those Crown land, every piece of Crown land in the government, the Queen could never be, or the Crown could never be invaded from his property. Every piece of Crown land, the government has a right to withdraw it with notice. The government gives notice, all Crown land moves back into the government hand. That means every house on that property, on that land, belongs to government. Here's the point. The government can move to evict them, or the government also have the authority in law to go to any piece of property that's a threat to life and limb and take possession and prevent entry. So that means the government could claim those land because those houses was built without a permit, could go there right now and block anybody from entering any of those houses under criminality of trespassing. The government goes and block off places all the time. But here's the problem.
So that's the power. That's the power that the justice was referring to. That lies in the hands of the minister. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Minister of Crown Land, but also in the power that lies in the hands of the Minister of Works. Both of them have joint power. So here's what happens. Exactly what I said to you. If the government was to go and take possession of Crown land and take possession of those houses, let's say there's 10,000 people in all the shanty towns. Guess what happened? The government must now provide housing for 7,000 people the next day. This is why we're allowing government to use the illegal.
Hold on. Before you go any further, why is it I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm not trying to be inhumane.
Okay.
I'm just asking a simple question. If I am renting from somebody and I stop paying rent, and the people kick me out of their apartment because I'm not paying rent,
okay,
is it the government's responsibility to find some place for me to live?
Yes.
How so?
Not to the quality of life. Again, these agreements, housing is a human right. They don't have to set you up in some condo and whatever else. But this is where the government has programs for social programs. This is what we talk about. We are talking about a lack of a social safety net.
So you're trying to tell me that every person who has been put out of their dwelling place for whatever reason, lack of payment, whatever, it is the government's responsibility to find some place for them to live?
To provide temporary housing, not permanent. This is what is called a social safety net. These are also part of the international agreements we signed. We didn't say that you pay your rent. We're saying, let's go for children. The government has a multiple responsibility to make sure the health and safety of every child under the age of 18. The government's supposed to know where every child is and who has custody of them at all given time. Every child that leaves those shanty town must be provided with the protection of government immediately to make sure that they are no risk. That's our international obligations, and that's part of a social safety net. We haven't talked about this for 40 years. Where's the social safety net? We give them tokens food and token 6 months rent. The government is doing it right now. You hear the minister say all the time, if you need housing and you live in a shanty town or a house burning down, come to us and we will provide it. The government gives you this 3 months rent or the 6 months rent. That's a form of social safety net. The problem is with the prices because the market has not had the sufficient housing in the marketplace to make sure the prices is equitable. That money the government gives them barely lasts them a month or barely can get them into the house. Why? Because we have not developed a housing regime that actually incorporates the social safety net into it. Now, let me just say this, Michelle. The government does not lack the funding to do this. It does not. And I hear people talk, those same crown land the government talk about, right? We talk about the millions of acres the government have. And I say to you, we have our RCL or whatever is going to Atlantis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the revenue they're talking about producing. They're talking about literally bringing in some of these places $700, $100,000, $1 million a year per acre, per year. Okay, I want you to listen to what I said. Per year, I'm saying to you, 50,000 acres. Let's say 100,000 acres put in a sovereign wealth fund, not to be sold, that produces $5,000 per year. They're producing $1 million a year. I'm saying we are so incompetent. I want to produce 5,000 a year for 10 years. We're talking $15 billion. So see, this is simple. Just take your calculator.
See, Alan,
Yes.
someone put a quote or something across the screen to say that the Crown land doesn't belong to the government; it belongs to the Bahamian people. And the government, of course, according to me, is the custodian of that land, but they don't own it. They don't have the right just to give it away or keep it for themselves, etc. So how do you address that in terms of what our government has been doing with respect to Crown land in the country?
We have never addressed the Crown land issue from independence. United States, Canada, Australia, and other people transferred their Crown land to a separate entity. We have kept it into the hands of the God, little d, called the Prime Minister, so he can dole it out how he wants to. The Department of the Interior in the US and Canada have a name, and Australia have a name, and all these other places have a name. The Crown land belongs again to the people. And the power of the Crown land is demonstrated in the BNT, because we already transferred 2 million acres to them to hold as custodian for the future. The problem is the Prime Minister keeps the other assets in the Prime Minister office, so he can hold it as a carrot to get whoever to do what he wants to do. Because if you transfer it into a sovereign land trust like Singapore, we like to talk about Singapore. Well, Singapore they took their land and they put 85% of it into a perpetual trust, could never be sold. In fact, in Singapore, you could rent the land for 99 years, but guess what? In Singapore, you can't even build a second or third floor on your house. Guess what you have to rent? The space above your land. If you want a second or third floor, you have to rent the space above your land. These are not new things. These are things people have been doing for 50 years. And so what happens is, with all due respect, we've been dumbed down. But since 2004, with the penetration of digital media that we call Google and the rest of them, there's a new educated class of beings that have access to information. And many of us have the ability to comprehend the information that we now call knowledge. There's some of us that even have the ability to properly execute the knowledge we have called wisdom. And the Bible, as a Christian nation, we claim to be, or one of the Bible Christian values said, seek ye after wisdom, as the Bible says. And so we don't have a money problem. We don't have any type of problem. We have a leadership problem in this country through actual stealth, by not knowing the potential we have, which is an ignorance on their part that can be cured, or by deliberate misdirection, which is, I'm hoping it's ignorance, because it concerns me if you would deliberately misdirect and lead our people. I just said to you, let's take some land and pretend we get $5,000 a year on each of those. Now, that's $5 billion or whatever amount we want. Put if we can make $300,000 in 10 years. If we can make that $30 billion, okay, we can pay off the national debt, we can build affordable housing, we can improve education, we can improve whatever. And so we have people talking about, I'll give you Crown land, I'll give you this and whatever. When it belongs to the people that know, oh, I've been waiting 10, 20 years. Are you waiting for something you already have? The problem you have is you need use of it. The problem is that too many of us are looking for personal ownership. I want to personally own this, then understanding that the benefits of Crown land was always meant for the collective good of all people. And when we begin to look back for the word that we once possessed, something called community, we no longer have the community. That's why you have the shanty towns. That's why you have the inner city looking like dump. That's why almost on everything it added. We have drifted from the vision our forefathers had for us 68 years or 50-something, going back from 1967, not just the independence movement. We got political power. We never totally brought in the social class, because we owned less in the Bahamas. In the Bahamas in 1973, we had a GDP of $600 million. I mean, $600 million per year, right? Of 200,000 people. But guess what? We practically own our own homes, our own cars, and out islands and land. Today, we have double the population, a GDP, including the formal and informal, of $16 billion a year, and we own less of the Bahamas. Something is wrong with the picture. So when you go back to the shantytown, you're talking about a collapse of a social structure, and there has to be a reestablishment of a social safety net. It's a minimum living standard for all Bahamians.
Well, when people hear this argument about the shanty towns and the ruling, the first thing their mind goes to is that we have one set of law for illegal immigrants or migrants and another set of law for Bahamians, because truth be told, the structures in those shanty towns were not built legally.
Okay.
But yet, if a Bahamian wants to build in someplace other than a shanty town, they have laws and rules and regulations that they have to follow. So,
Alan, you cool out a little bit, man. Let me hear Michelle finish the point.
We have to take a break.
I'm laughing. Howard, you know why? Just said 75% of the people in there were Bahamians.
But that doesn't change. I understand what you're saying, but that doesn't change the fact that they built illegally. So let's take this break. When we come back, we're going to look at all of this, because what you're saying is we are mixing up two issues. We are mistakenly mixing up the issue of illegal immigration with that of a lack of housing. I hear you. But I think we still missing the boat, because we ain't get to the first problem, which is the illegality of the constructions of the home in the first place. So let's take this break. Let's come back. We're going to hear from what the Prime Minister had to say with regard to the shantytown ruling, and then we're going to dive deeper into this. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rim fix and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this beautiful, overcast, but still beautiful Thursday afternoon. We're talking about two issues today. We're talking about the ruling as it relates to the demolition of shanty towns, and we're talking about citizenship based on a ruling of the Privy Council that implicates our Constitution. To join in on the conversation, that's really easy. Simply, all you need to do is give us a call at 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272. The WhatsApp line for calls and text messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Make sure you like and share the show. We're also streaming live on YouTube on our official channels. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974, or of course by radio on 99.5 FM on your dial. So let's bring these gentlemen back into the studio. In case you've been living under a rock and you don't know what it is we're talking about, because we just dove right in. I didn't even set up the show properly. We just dove right in. So in case you don't have any idea what we're talking about, you haven't been following the news, there's been a ruling handed down by the courts that said pretty much that only two of the structures that were built after the period in which the court said there should be no further building of homes within the shanty towns, that out of all of those homes that were built after the fact, only two of them should be torn down because only those two people were rightfully or properly advised that there was this injunction in place prohibiting them from building again. And even though they were advised properly, they went ahead and built anyway. But the rest of all of those people, according to this ruling, and I am obviously paraphrasing, weren't properly advised that what they were doing is in contravention of a ruling that had been handed down by the courts that there should be no further building in these shanty towns. Now, I read through as much of that ruling as I could, and I was like, Jesus, what is this? But anyhow, let me go ahead and play this clip that will bring everybody up to speed as to how we got where we are today. And then we're going to hear what the Prime Minister has to say with regard to the ruling.
Only two of the 300 shantytown structures in Abaco and Grand Bahama that government sought to have demolished through a court order will be destroyed. This according to a ruling handed down today by Chief Justice Ian Winder. The two homes ordered by the court must be taken down within 45 days. Justice Winder argues that the homes of the two people are built in defiance of a court order that prevented the expansion of shantytowns. Today's ruling coming several weeks after shantytown residents appeared before Winder as authorities attempt to rule with an iron fist as it relates to taking down structures that are not protected by the Supreme Court order. Now, according to recent reports, an aerial survey conducted by the Ministry of Works revealed that shantytown structures were recently built in unregulated communities, both here in the country's capital and in Abaco, some of them tripling in size.
Okay, so in essence, what the Chief Justice said in his ruling is it's clearly obvious that a lot of homes were built after the fact, but it was your responsibility to make sure, when I say your, the government's responsibility, to make sure that the people who were building were properly advised that what they were doing was in contravention of what the court has ruled should not happen. House to house, I'm paraphrasing here, since you didn't go from house to house when these people started to build and properly advise them that they were in contravention of a ruling of the court, then you don't have the right to tear this down based on that. But the minister still has a right within his power to demolish if he chose to do so. So here is what the Prime Minister had to say in response to that ruling, and then we're going to go back to our panelists, C. Alan Johnson and Joseph Darville, to talk about this.
The ruling, I've not studied the ruling in its entirety, and we'll just see what the lawyers have to say about it. But what I can say is that we respect the decisions of the court. We'll abide that decision unless and until it is overturned.
Okay, I don't know what was going on with the audio just now, but pretty much he said we're going to respect and abide by the decision of the court unless it's overturned. Okay.
Came through clearly. Yeah.
You're speaking about multiple issues in the same statement in that court decision.
Bottom line is this. Whether or not I put a notice on your door to say that you should not be building this thing illegally, because you know you're building this illegally. Let's be real now. Everybody who goes in a shanty town and builds a structure know they breaking the law.
But Michelle, see, this is where I don't want to get the impartial concerning the location of the house. Anybody that builds anywhere has to be notified that the building that they're building is illegal. I don't care if you build in the inner city. See, this is where we get this so impassioned when we come to the location of these things in the shanty town.
Joe, what are your thoughts on this? Let me let Joe jump in first, and then I'll let you finish the thought, C. Alan.
Well, my take on this is the fact that whenever these people carry out illegal construction in these particular areas, they have to be facilitated by individuals who are somehow connected to the powers that be in order for them to very casually go ahead, buy materials, organize the laying of foundation if they do have a foundation. And so somehow I think there is some corruption at the very high level, which facilitates this whole phenomenon of shanty towns having to be developed over many years. But one of the things that we look at when we look at the situation, for example, in Abaco, that is a historic thing, because a lot of these, particularly Haitians and other nationalities from the South, they came in to work for the rich people in Abaco.
Yes.
And they were able to, whether by permission or not, they were able to build their homes on Crown land, and to build it without proper specification from the building department. And so it's only now in recent times that one has the whatever the facility is, or whatever you want to predicate it as. Now they feel that, hey, this has to be done. But the fact is that the very people for whom these people work were the ones who are actually now trying to facilitate the destruction of these particular areas. And if they were building it, how could they get along to build a whole house, whether shanty town or little shack or whatever, without it being seen? Where are the authorities? Where is the police walking around in these areas to make sure things are being done as they should? So it's a whole, I think, casting fault on our whole system in the country. And for that reason, I see the judge made what he figured was the right decision, because this has been allowed to go on for such a long time without people being given the information to not go and construct in houses on Crown land in these areas. And a lot of them too are Bahamians. These are Bahamians as well. And so the government is be caught between the devil and deep blue sea, because they have to provide to some extent, particularly for the Bahamians, to be able to house if they're going to destroy their housing that they have, whether it's in Nassau, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama, or specifically in Abaco.
See, Alan, finish the thought that you started.
Forget the word shantytown. These are irregular houses. I don't care if they were built into the inner cities. The government had an initial 280 homes. It's been triple in size. The government come to court and asked the judge, give me permission to knock down 900 homes. The government asked a question. Did you give a cease and desist or whatever procedural order on the homes that you're also asking beyond these 280 homes? Did you notify them? Did you stop them? Did you verify they didn't have a building permit and whatever? You can't say I know they don't. How did you come to know that they don't have a building permit? And so that is in the remit of the minister. He knows every place that has a building permit. Local government knows who has a building permit or whatever else. But you just can't drive by just because you see a building and say that was built without a building permit. That sanction comes from the Minister of Works.
Okay.
So I'm saying you, so he didn't do that. And it's the same thing for the homes. If you read the argument that that was made by Fred Smith in concerning the procedural errors that the government has not done, I'm saying that these errors are deliberate. They because we don't have a plan B. And so I'm saying this the level of incompetence can't be accidental. Just multiple level of what we're doing. It just can't just be coincidence.
So, in other words, they stood by and they watch all these houses being built
and never once give a stop and desist. The way they come to you and say, you know, this is illegal. They put a sign, they notify you, take down this wall, take down this building, take down this addition. They don't just show up and knock it down. They give you notice from building department. Ask the building department to show you the notice they give to those 900 homes.
You know, I watched an interview a couple of weeks ago that they were interviewing a gentleman with a deep Haitian accent who was living in the shanty towns. I ain't saying he didn't have a right to be here. I'm just saying that he was being interviewed by the news, a very deep Haitian accent, and he is a resident of the shanty towns. And he said point blank, well, it's too late to do anything now because the government see us building and the government ain't saying nothing to us. So you trying to tell me that what that man was saying was legally correct?
No, it's not. No, he was wrong in saying it's too late. But technically, the government can't do anything until they give him notice. The government must declare that based on the record keeping, that this is even if it's built to standard, that this house was built without the proper permission. Once the house is built without proper permission, there is a method to verify the authenticity of whether or not the building is at permit. Because you could come in and hire an engineer to certify that even though I did not have a permit, this meets the housing quality or whatever standards. You can do that. Then comes another question though. Do you have permission to build on the property for which you build? And if you don't, then government must notify not the person in the house, they must notify the owner of the land. Well, who's the owner of the land? Government, Crown land, or whoever is the leaseholder of the land. So I'm saying to you is this pageantry that we're having is simply a deliberate act to avoid dealing with the housing crisis we are facing in our country. The government only need to come out and say, we know we have a housing crisis. We have done an audit of the country. We did an audit of the people. Let's use an example. They said, an audit of the country said, we were short 80,000 homes from the last census, and we needed to build 2,500 homes per year just to stay at net zero. This is a quote by the minister in the House of Assembly. Well, let's look at the last census. For 13 years times 2,500 is how much? 25,000 homes, 30,000 homes? Okay. Well, let's look at where we had 100, 102, 103,000. Let's run 105. Well, according to this census, we only had 112, or we only added 12,000 homes when we should have added 30,000 housing units. So we just in the last 13 years, we had a deficit of almost 20,000 homes, not counting the so-called illegals. So the problem then is that we have not met a development structure of housing in our country. We need a massive housing build-out and strategy that identifies the needs of the country and dedication of the resources, whether it be international, local, whatever, to actually build what is necessary. I just showed you in just in the last 13 years with 20,000 short. Can we at least go build a 20,000 home and move the people in the shanty town there? And then we'll have be dealt with that, and then we can go look at refurbishing the inner city. What happened to urban renewal? What happened to livable neighborhoods? And all of these wonderful words we came up with. Where has been the structural improvement, the data to support the environment? I'm saying to you is that we are simply good at talking, very, very bad at implementing anything. I challenge you. No one can show you a housing strategy or housing policy in this country for the last 50 years, not written anywhere. No one can show you one. And so what I'm saying is this problem is not going to go away. If the government goes and take possession of the land, just like I said to you, my question then becomes to you is, if you have 1,000 homes in one area and the average amount of people in the home is 3.5, you're talking over 3,000 people in that one particular area. Then you go to Carmichael Road. Then you go to these other 17 areas. Then you come to Grand. So you're talking 20, 30,000 people. Where's the housing to solve the problem? And so, but let's go back with what Darville said concerning housing. A lot of people need to understand the history of where this starts in Abaco. This started in a location called Archer's Pond. Okay? Archer's Pond is an area that eventually became to be known as the Mud. How did they call it the Mud? They became the Mud because as they were dredging the harbor of this muck, that's where they pumped it into Archer's Pond. Archer's Pond, based on my research, to families who happens to be archers in Abaco, they used to have ducks and all kind of different things in that particular pond that was filling with the muck from the harbor. Mm-hmm. And so when they had like some crisis or something in Abaco, what they did was they allowed houses to be built on the outskirts, and it just simply multiplied with the passive consent of government. Now we're talking about very thing. Government had the authority to tag those houses for the last 50 years as being built without permit. They have never tagged any. They have never tagged any houses in Carmichael or anywhere on New Providence or anywhere on Grand Bahama or anywhere in the inner city. On occasion, you hear government notifying somebody that they add an addition or something, and that's generally because some neighbor complained and was insistent to have it done. So I say we need to have a pause. Let's have an immigration conversation, because we could solve that with a national ID system and a database in 6 months. Then it comes to question: even if our immigration law says the landlord, the work permit holder is responsible for providing housing for the person for which they have a work permit. Okay, good. According to Keith Bell, we got 40,000 people on work permits. Where are those 40,000 houses that the landlord himself could attach themselves to? So if he was to enforce if we was to and this is the legal immigrants in the country, that
Right.
means immediately we would have to cancel 20,000 work permits almost immediately, because you just can't say you have an address. They have to meet the minimum housing standard. So what happens to the economy when you remove 20,000 people tomorrow, and let's put them on flights to Jamaica, to Haiti, to Trinidad, wherever they're from? And so I'm saying to you, follow the law on the housing and forget the legal. I'm saying to you, we can't meet the requirement of the legal requirement of providing housing for the 20,000 work permit holders coming into the country. So again, so what it comes back to housing. Housing. So we have an immigration crisis, but that's a separate crisis, all in apart from the master underlying crisis, because I just showed you where you have a problem, an immigration, I didn't say illegal, we have an immigration problem. I just showed you where you have a legal immigration problem in providing housing for 20,000 individuals.
I hear you, but there are some who may argue that, do we really need 20,000 work permits? Could not some of these jobs be taken by Bahamians who right now here looking for jobs, many instances can't find work because all of these jobs, many of which can be performed by Bahamians, are being taken up by work permit holders? Do we need
Well,
20,000 work permits?
that's a separate phenomenon, because I know a lot of business people, whether they're building, whether electrical companies, etc. They would rather have a Haitian or someone to do the work, because then they could order them and rule them easier than they rule a Bahamian. They could get more work out of them. They could pay them less. And therefore, it's a whole combobulated situation in this country, which has to have an overall look to see how is it that individuals can, of such a large number, be living in shanty towns and be legal in terms of having a permit to work, and yet not given a specific address with respect to where their domicile is in this country. So it's so confused. You have to start all over again and try to regulate this unregulated system that we have in the Bahamas, because then what happens is that you have the same situation where the illegals going to pour, I don't like to call people illegal, but individuals, refugees going to pour into this country. They have connections here and they are facilitated in so many ways. In fact, you look at the situation with who intercepts the ships or sailboats coming into the Bahamas now. Not our defense force. It is done by the Americans, and there's a specific reason for that, because the Americans patrolling our waters don't want these people to reach their country, and so they intercept them in our territory, our waters, and therefore they come and they have to be taken care of by our government. And so that's another situation as we look to it very carefully to see why is it that the Americans people who apply in these waters, picking up the Haitians in our territory, rather than waiting until they get in, because that many of them are heading for the U.S., not just the Bahamas. And so they intercept them, and then they have to land them in our territorial waters if that is the case. So it's a whole messed up situation that we have in this country with individuals from other countries coming into our country, being facilitated to land here, and many of them who come in without even being detected. They have connections, and God only knows how. They got connections, and in no time at all, they got a work permit, because the workers feel with construction and so forth. Like one construction company said the other day, if they would depend on Bahamians to do construction work, they'll never get anything built. So that's the problem.
I want to read this comment on from our Facebook viewer. Hold on, Seattle. And it says, the government isn't bound by that court order. The Chief Justice said himself, there are other legal avenues the government can take. This government doesn't have the will to address this issue.
Why? You know why they don't have the will? Because there are people under cover who are facilitating this predicament in our country. Some of the very ones who are so-called ruling this country. And that's why we can't get our hands on anything definitive in order to move this country ahead. There's so much convoluted activities going on at the highest level in this country that continue to facilitate this irregularity in our little country.
Michelle, let me explain to you $1.5 billion a year that's made in illegal shanty towns, right? I mean, that illegal immigration. We have an immigration crisis. When you talk about why the people don't work, because they can exploit these individuals. That's why they facilitate them coming into the country. The contractor who says he pays the guy the salary. If he had to get a work permit, a proper work permit, they said that these people are working on work permits for $500, but they should be paying $4,500, $6,000. So what they do is they facilitate the so-called out of work permit, not in its proper definition of what it's supposed to be. Then if they have to actually provide housing, they would have to pay the people a real salary to be able to pay for that housing, and you have to show that on your compensation package of immigration was correct. Because immigration have to say, look, if Mr. Johnson is coming in from Haiti, and his rent is $700 a month, and his light and this and everything else, how are you going to be paying him $350? The definition of this skill set that you say you're bringing him for can't pay these fees, so you must have something else. Right. So the problem, again, I say to you, is a broken immigration system. But let's use this as an example. 30,000 legal people, 30,000 illegal people are underpaid by $100 per week. Just $100 a week underpaid, right? What they should be getting. You've just made $300 million or $500 million. Now, because you caused a depression in the economy, the Bahamas who screaming they want to work, they have to work for $100 less. Let's extrapolate that to the 200,000 people. You just saved $1 billion in salary. So there is $1.5 billion alone that is being made by underpaying both Bahamians and illegals. See, fixing the immigration problem and fixing the housing problem causes a right sizing of this community. Because when these individuals are coming in with their proper definition as a mason or something else, his work permit is $5,000 a year. Not someone who say, I have you as a farmer, I have just a certain hand. So the minute you have to pay $5,000 or $500 a month alone for the work permit, you now must pay him. And this is where we have to begin to say, oh, Bahamians don't qualify, Bahamians don't want to work. Bahamians don't want to work for the wages you have. If this is the skill set that I possess, and this is the standard for which the skill should be paid in the country, let's identify every skill in this country that is needed. Let's identify every Bahamian that has the skill and every Bahamian who can be upskilled or reskilled to fill those positions. Then we won't have to bring them in with proper compensation. Because you know why? If I could pay someone with the proper skill, the salary of say $700 a week, I don't have to worry about housing. I don't have to pay the $700, the $500 a month for the work permit. Secondly, accordingly to our laws, the person bringing the work permit is responsible for the medical bills and the education of children that come with them. So what we are doing is we are socializing the negatives and privatizing the profits in this country. And so I'm saying, let's have a true conversation about the economic disparity that exists in this country that has been perpetrated on the majority by a very small select minority that seems to be thriving in this chaos. Immigration could be fixed with one laptop. There was a laptop loss in America with a few million people on it. We got 50,000 immigration people. One laptop at 50 million people. And we ran and say we can't run the government 50,000 people. Are we serious?
Cialan and Michelle, what about this new dictum from United Nations advising the Bahamas that they are to accommodate all of these refugees coming from Haiti?
We can talk about that on the other side of the break. Remember, I said at the outset of the show that this is going to be a two-part show.
Yeah.
We can talk about that on the other side of the break. But from everything that we've said so far and what I've heard so far from you, in essence, this boils down to one thing. Money, 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 money. Money. It's just ridiculous. Greed and corruption.
Greed and corruption.
Bottom line.
corruption. Yeah.
We have to talk about on the other side this whole UN thing, though, because when you're talking about greed and corruption is why they got a problem right now in Haiti. You got the wealthy people of Haiti paying these boys.
They took away all of the wealth and all of the magnificent beauty of Haiti. They took it out of the country, and they just left the country.
So how that get to be our problem?
Because we are community.
We got to take a break. We got to take a break.
We got to talk about that because on this aspect, we got to support the Prime Minister. And
Absolutely. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global paradigm shift will return after
Your
this.
body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. We are streaming live on Facebook. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. You can find us on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM or Michelle Malcolm pages, also on YouTube on our official channels. Numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. And you can also catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. Okay, so We have to talk about the United Nations before I bring my two guests back into the picture. United Nations is calling on the Bahamas to stop repatriating Haitians back home because of the ongoing turmoil that they are experiencing in Haiti. Caller, we have a caller on WhatsApp. Just bear with me a second, please. Well, since we have you here, I guess I need to take this call. But I wanted to play this clip, explaining what the UN is asking us to do. But since we have a caller on WhatsApp, let's take the call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle. I listen to your show every day.
Mm-hmm.
I love listening to your show.
Thank you.
But please tell Mr. C. Allen Johnson, give Mr. Doctor the chance to talk because he's just talking.
Okay, that's your contribution? Okay, thank you so much for calling. All right, let's go to this clip that I wanted to play with regard to the UN's request for the Bahamas to stop sending Haitians back home at this time.
Repatriations will not cease, says Immigration Minister Keith Bell. That's despite the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination's calls to facilitate the granting of protection measures, regularization, and granting legal stay to Haitian migrants. On Friday, the committee expressed concern over the treatment of Haitian migrants, saying there were concerning reports of human rights violations and abuses against Haitian migrants in the Americas.
Our small nation cannot possibly shoulder any more of a burden. We are standing strong on this position. Despite pressure earlier this year, when the United Nations called for countries in our region to halt deportations to Haiti, once again, I decided to continue repatriations.
Prime Minister Philip Davis previously said the Bahamas simply cannot afford to open its borders.
The infrastructure of the Bahamas, including the educational and the medical system, cannot support uncontrolled numbers of persons entering our country. The government has issued the department clear and unequivocal mandate that the immigration laws must be enforced, and persons are not permitted to enter or remain in the Bahamas without the requisite approvals. Persons entering or remaining in the Bahamas outside immigration regulations will therefore be apprehended and deported immediately.
Last year, the Bahamas repatriated 4,748 irregular migrants. 3,349 of them were Haitian nationals. Up until March of this year, Bell says 2,030 persons have been repatriated at a cost of more than $1 million.
It is the long-held position of the government of the Bahamas that the international community must assemble the resources needed to provide Haiti with an economic package of debt forgiveness and aid to assist in improving its economic outlook. Fundamentally, the stabilization of Haiti will only happen if Haitians remain in their country and work to find a solution.
Okay, so here's what the Prime Minister had to say when recently questioned by reporters about the Bahamas' position regarding that UN request.
I've heard the United Nations plea to us. But unfortunately, it's a plea that I cannot accede to.
Prime Minister Philip Davis making it very clear that government will continue with its deportation efforts despite recent calls from the United Nations for officials to put deportation exercises on hold. The appeal was made by the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, and those officials argue that the Bahamas government must take into account the ongoing state of social unrest in Haiti stemming from a surge of kidnapping and gang violence. But Davis says his country has issues of its own.
The Bahamas cannot afford the burden of continuing of housing and keeping the amount of migrants fleeing from Haiti to our shores. We are already overburdened by the fact that by the fact of interception, detention, and sending them back.
That said, Davis is calling on the powers that be to lead the charge.
So those countries who are out there who could help Haiti, I call on them, please come and help Haiti. And that is my cry.
with Haiti continuing to experience chaos that has resulted in thousands of Haitian nationals fleeing their country, with the Bahamas being one of their destinations. Yesterday, Immigration Minister Keith Bell revealed that government has repatriated over 2,000 people between January 1st and the end of March this year, with the majority of them being Haitian nationals. It's against this backdrop that Bell says government remains relentless in its zero tolerance for illegal migration.
The Bahamas is for Bahamians and for those who are prepared to follow the laws of our country. We simply cannot afford open borders.
Michelle.
Yes.
In spite of my concern for all people and being human beings and so forth, and what is being hoisted onto the Bahamas government, our country, it is. I cannot believe that someone out of the United Nations will come up with that lame and limp solution. We have a little over 400,000 people in this country right now, and about 25, 30, if not 40% of them are living at or below poverty level. If we were to open our floodgates for the refugees coming from Haiti or any other country that's having problems, South America, Cuba, and so forth, we would be destitute in no time at all. I could not believe that would have come across and to be dictated to the Bahamas, for the simple reason that there are many, many other solutions to this whole diaspora, the fleeing of people from Haiti. I don't think they should stay in Haiti because a lot of them are going to be murdered and killed. And then if we accommodate, many of them will come here and carry on the same type of behavior as happening in Haiti right now. And so the UN must come up with a more comprehensive view about Haiti. I know we're willing to help, but we are only one country in the Caribbean area to which some of these can be. And even if they were to say that, the Bahamas, you take 5,000 of them or whatever, the United Nations must prepare our facilities in this country or whatever to make sure that they are taken care of properly. We cannot allow our open borders just like that. And I go back to the situation with the United States, and they're patrolling our territorial waters. They stop these boats in our water, not our defense force. They don't stop them. Now, many of them. The United States Coast Guard stops them in our waters so they could bring them into our islands in the Bahamas because they don't want them to land in Florida. And so, this whole situation, we cannot be used. I'm open-hearted when it comes to compassion for all of my human beings. But the fact is that lame and limp solution that is coming from you, I agree with Mr. Bell, Keith Bell, the Minister of Immigration. I agree with the Prime Minister. We have to categorically reject such a lame and limp and ridiculous solution to the Haitian diaspora.
We have two callers on the line, and callers, I come to you all right now. But you're absolutely right, because the UN could afford to talk about Bahamas. Y'all need to not send them back. But they ain't talking about who could pay for keeping them.
Amen. Yeah.
And are they putting the same pressure on other countries that could afford to take them, like the United States? Am I missing something?
If they want to give us, $100 million to build facilities and have them to do some kind of work and so forth, to be occupied while they are out of their country, that's a different story. But just to make a statement generally, we got to stop sending them back and so on. No.
We have two callers on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm and your guests. You all are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And also, we need to be like America. When they hit, they don't let them hit their borders. They send them right back. They don't even bring them on land. That's what we need to do here. We need to when they catch up, ship them right back. Don't bring them here. And then costing so much money on us as taxpayers to have to pay. Y'all continue doing the good work.
Thank you so much for calling, ma'am.
Thank you.
We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Thank you for taking my call. Excellent show. I really, really enjoyed the contributions that I'm hearing from you and your guests.
Thank you.
Very, very, very enlightening. But, I sum this all up to a Lucifer experiment. Because I would like to ask Mr. Bell, seeing that he's standing so strong against the UN, how many work permits are he still issuing for masons and gardeners? to persons coming in from Haiti. I mean, he's talking good out of one side of the mouth, but I'm pretty sure they're still issuing work permits because that's a revenue generating thing going up there on Hawkins City. You know that, right?
Well, you just
has he stopped? No, has he stopped since he made those statements issuing work permits?
Carla, you just further opened the can of worms that was open in the first half of this show.
Yeah.
Why they are not taking this action? Why? There is a reason for that.
A Lucifer experiment. I tell you what, you could see it all over the world. Lucifer is having his big
It don't take a genius to figure out that there's more to this.
Who's that, Lucifer? Stop blame it on the devil.
What I got to do with this?
No. Think about it. When you really look at it, we seem to be unable to do something about this.
Not unable.
Unwilling. We're able to do it, but we are unwilling to do it because our hands are in the cookie jar somewhere where they have to be clean and pristine for us to do the right things all the time.
That was what Lucifer did. He dirtied us up, and now we can't even clean off because if we clean the dirt off, people will see that we once had mud all over us.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. Michelle, I want you to consider this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the government makes 30, 40, $50 million from the work permit thing that's all in the wrong definition, and they're supposed to get 5,000 rather than 500, right? That means that they're getting 10 times less than they're supposed to. So if the government collects $50 million in work permit, that means they should be collecting $500 million in work permit. So essentially, we've been transferring that wealth from government hands into the hand of private sector. And that's a wealth transfer system.
The oligarchs.
Yes. And so this is why, as Bahamians, we have to ask, if you want this so-called livable wage, then you have to ask that the immigration system be fixed. You have to ask that the housing system be fixed. You have to ask that the workforce be evaluated and fixed.
Well,
and so,
what bothered me about the whole UN situation, they talking about we need to not send these people back. Does the UN have anything to say to the oligarchs in Haiti who creating this crisis by paying the gangs to continue this turmoil in that country?
But let me say something, Michelle.
Do you want to have anything to say to
that? Your video is not working properly. What happened there?
I'm not sure because on my end it looks fine.
It looks fine here too.
Yeah.
Michelle, let me just say this, right? The resources in Haiti is still there. Nevada Island or something they have in Haiti that has been guarded by the U.S. since the 1800s has this guam, this bat droppings that they use. It's valuable into the billions of dollars for the United States economy. There's iridium, there's gold. Haiti has one of the highest gold reserves in the world that's still within their ground. Haiti has the discovery of iridium. If gold is selling for if gold is selling for, let's say, $5 million a ton, iridium sells for $200 million per ton, right? So if a ton of iridium is being taken out of Haiti every month, that's $200 million that is not going into the coffers of Haiti. Iridium is one of the most valuable metals right now in this new technological revolution. Haiti has the second highest deposit of iridium in the world. Again, Haiti, just like the Bahamas, does not have a money problem. It's a leadership problem.
Corruption.
Let's not blame it on the oligarchs. Let's use, for those who are familiar with the basketball game, you have the players, we call them voters. That's us, the fanatics, the fans, right? You have the fans. We have the players, we call those MPs, right? We have the managers of this economy. We call them the oligarchs. But when you go to the game, there's a room to the top. Those, those rooms to the top with the windows. That's where the owners are. The owner, the people who have taken possession of Haiti economy, it's not the oligarchs in Haiti that's taking that $200 million a month out of Haiti. It's not them taking the gold out. It's not them have a warship for over 100 years, 150 years sitting off an island of Haiti. That's not them. If France was to be forced to do what's right, Haiti would actually blossom.
France and America. France, don't forget America.
That's not America's the one who's taking the iridium, the gold, and the back down from the islands. I'm saying to you is that what happens is you have exactly what has happened to Haiti. Happened to Africa is systematically being done in the Caribbean. We just have various different natural resources, and we have been made nothing but animals of consumption. And so the problem is that when we talk about Haiti, we keep talking about feeding and clothing them when they have the ability. If you would take your foot off their neck so they can get up off the ground to do what they need to do for themselves. So when they say y'all need to do something, our leadership has to be informed at exactly why Haiti is what it is, and they are afraid to speak the truth.
They are informed, man. The whole world is informed. Everybody knows.
So why don't we as a community then say, look, this is the problem with Haiti, and this is if you guys just let Haitians keep their iridium, let Haitians keep their gold, move your warship from this war act that they have.
Pay them back all the money you stole from them over these many generations.
No, what I'm saying to you, so what I'm saying to you is that if Haiti becomes what it's supposed to be, then these giants in the world won't be who they claim they are. And so the problem we have to understand, they will always try to transpose upon us a problem, because in our ignorance, we keep pretending like we don't know what the problem is. So when they say, take the Haitians, right? Instead of them saying, okay, we'll take them. In exchange for 1 ton of iridium per month, we'll take them.
Well, you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is? They try to turn the Bahamas into the second Haiti. That's what the problem is. Because like Haiti, we have some tremendous natural resources that they are exploiting and trying to exploit. We haven't allowed it to come to the degree where it's happening in Haiti, but you're right. The same thing is happening in Africa. Matter of fact, I did on a show some time ago, a couple of months back, where we had a professor on camera saying to his students in Europe, let's be honest here. We need to keep Africa poor because that's how we maintain our lifestyle. So this is all systematically planned to keep these people in turmoil. But I ask the question again, how did that get to be our problem?
I can tell you why, Michelle. We are moving into an age of, this is where we in the first knowledge, believe it or not, we've had a knowledge-based economy existing. As of November of last year, the world has moved into what is called a knowledge economy. Knowing, not a knowledge-based economy. This new called data economy and this knowledge-based economy allows the unseen to be seen. It allows the tangible and intangible to be touched. So the known and unknown to be known. And so what is happening now is that we're moving in an age of information. And the best way is to have a person that's so disadvantaged that they can't catch up to you. And this is where we talk to the millionaires and billionaires. I want you to understand this. I want Bahamians to understand the significance of $1 billion, right? If I have $1 billion and I was to pay you $1 million a year to work for me, you would have to work for 1,000 years to have my $1 billion.
All right, we got to take a break. We have to take a break.
When we come back, Michelle, I wanted to address that whole question of why the UN is focusing on us to resolve the problem in Haiti.
Okay, now caller, I see you there on WhatsApp, but we got to take this quick break. So let us take this break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about exactly what Joseph just mentioned, and we're also going to take this call from WhatsApp. Boise Allen, I don't know if we can get to that citizenship question today. We may have to tackle that next week. But anyhow, let's take this break. We'll be back after these words from us.
Tomorrow.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127 or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here. My guests today are C. Alan Johnson and Joseph Darville. Joseph, I know you had a point you wanted to make about the UN situation, but we do have a caller from WhatsApp that's been waiting since before the break. So let's take this call, and then we're going to go to you, Joseph, to complete the thought you wanted to make prior to the break. Caller, welcome to the show. Caller, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Malcolm. I have a question, and my question is, why are we not hearing from the Haitian people? And they would be the ones that really have the answer to what's going on in Haiti.
Well,
and my next question is the other Caribbean countries helping out? I haven't from them, or I haven't been hearing anything about them. They are helping or what? It's just the Bahamas. So just want to know if they're helping and why we're not hearing from for themselves, like calling in the show or on the show.
Right. Thank you so much for calling. Well, for the record, we have had persons of Haitian nationality on the show in the past. And quite frankly, if they knew the solution, then I would say that Haiti wouldn't be in the situation it's in right now, because they would be able to hopefully contribute. The truth be told is that there are too many powerful people in Haiti who are benefiting from the chaos there. Bottom line, they're benefiting. They are benefiting. They're benefiting from, as would have been described, with all of the uber wealthy people creating the chaos. They're benefiting from the money that's being sent back into Haiti from those who flee the country. They are benefiting from the chaos too.
So it's the Bahamas. The same way that the oligarchs is benefiting from the chaos in Haiti, just like ours is benefiting from the chaos here.
Okay, let's go to Fred. Thank you, caller. Fred, I know you wanted to make a point about what the UN.
Joseph.
Why you call you Fred? Joseph.
Well, it's a very simple thing. I think the UN sees all this repatriation of the Haitians by our airlines back into Haiti. They do not see the Americans doing such a thing, because the American Coast Guard, they intercept the Haitians before they enter the territorial waters of the United States of America. And this is a ploy, because then if the Bahamas, if they intercept them and bring and call our defense people or bring them to Inagua or wherever they land them, then it means that it is our responsibility to house them, take care of them, because that's humanity. We must take care of these God's people. And so no matter how they came here, we must treat them as beings of God created. So the airlines spend a whole lot of money taking these people back to Haiti. That's what the United Nations is saying. And so that's a limp excuse or a recommendation that we should receive them, not repatriate them, and so forth. And the airlines, it's costing us a phenomenal amount of money. So, yeah, so this is what I would recommend, that we have an enormous Defense Force vessel, that wherever these are intercepted on our high seas in our territorial waters, they are immediately boarded onto a safe ship that is going to take them right back into Haiti. And it would cost 10 times less than what it's costing us now to repatriate these people after getting them on an island, getting them in Nassau, housing them, putting them in Defense Force to keep them there for a period of time. This got to be done with sense, and we need the proper, and we could appeal to United Nations to supply us with that type of seagoing vessels so that they can be safely put on. We don't want one where Defense Force, tried to tow that boat in the Exuma Keys. You remember that? Yeah, and the boat sank and dozens of Haitians drowned. We don't want that to happen. United Nations can help us by providing us with the necessary instruments by which we can repatriate these people from the high seas. They don't even have to land in our territorial land. They're in our waters. Defense Force, the Americans, if they want to help us, they help us board them, but don't turn them over to us because they don't want them to enter the Florida Straits. Yeah. And then it's their responsibility.
You do, hold on, C. Allen, you do realize that when you're talking about the distance between Haiti and our southernmost islands, you're only talking about a 70-mile radius.
Yeah, that's all.
We like to use this excuse of, we're an archipelagic nation and we have over 100,000, space to cover 70 miles.
That's all. Yeah.
Between Haiti and our southernmost island. 70 miles.
Sorry to interrupt you, Michelle, but you know what is something? We should institute that. You remember what the Americans had stationed in Inagua and here in Grand Bahama, where they could see anything leaving from South America.
Right.
We need to have that facility in Inagua. So the moment they enter our territorial waters, we are there to turn them back humanely and take them back to Haiti. And if the United States want to help us, provide provisions for them. Don't just put on the Bahamas that we can't send them back.
Very effectively, what you're describing, Joseph. We did this very effectively in the drug war. when we established UPBAT.
Yeah.
All they did was shut down that passageway 70 miles.
Yeah.
So don't come to me with this lame excuse about, oh, we got so much ground to cover and we got such a porous nation. That's a load of bull. 70 miles.
Michelle
right.
and Mr. Darville, technology exists right now, from drones to detectors in the water and everything else. What they're seeking to do is have the Bahamas become the Chinese wall between us and them. That's what they're seeking to do, even to the detriment of us becoming one of the colonies of Haiti. Because it's the economics of maintaining the economics of Haiti. They will have us become a colony of Haiti to maintain the economic superiority, the system that they have in place in the billions of dollars. So we have to also look at the fact that if we talk about this returning the people to Haiti, I hear people saying we have to have a court hearing and all these different things. We went and we passed law for turtles, for dogs, and for sharks. We could go into Parliament and modify whatever laws we need to be able to accommodate returning people to Haiti at the high seas or with a quick hearing and all these different things. This is not constitutional protection where we need to have a referendum. And so anything that needs to be done, we just do not have the willpower to do it. And so the government love? The government gets off on midgets with megaphones. And that's and I'm saying because they have people that run around and instead of stating the problem, here's what it says. A problem properly stated is 90% of the solution. The other 10% is action. So what we do is we have eloquence of expression where people just eloquently describe a problem but never speak to the problem. And so I'm saying to you is that if we actually, for instance, we talk about people entering the country illegally, a digital system will actually eliminate anyone entering the country illegally because when you can provide them with housing and all these different things, and you say to the person, if you facilitate an illegal activity or moral turpitude, you'll be invalidated from holding your work permit, and you'll also be invalidated from returning to the Bahamas. So we can put these things in place, but again, it comes back to the social safety net. We have to have a strategy for our workforce. We have to have a strategy for housing. We have to have a strategy for economic development to grow the economy to accommodate both the Bahamians to the point that we would need to have foreigners come in. We cannot today say that we don't need Haitians because we can't match the work skill because we haven't defined. You cannot go to Ministry of Labor right now and get a list of every job in this country and the definition. Like you go to the United States, like I go to the United States, you say, oh, my classification is 808744 based on what I do for work, and this is the salary range this person has. They keep us in this perpetual state of darkness in spite of the era of technology. This is why from 1968, we've been trying to digitize the government. Forget the country. 1968 is when the technology department started. We still can't get paper documents.
All right, let's hear from Joseph.
Michelle, okay, I don't want to give the Minister of Immigration, Mr. Bell, or Prime Minister advice, but this is how I would respond to the United Nations. No, that is absolutely ridiculous what you're suggesting. If you really want to help the Haitian people, have a facility set up in Haiti that could accommodate them when they go back to Haiti, if they came from squalor, from nothing, that was seeking something in the Bahamas. And then you provide us with the means by which we could repatriate these people safely back to Haiti. And you give us the wherewithal to take care of them while they're in our territorial waters, taking them back to Haiti, and you provide facility there in a safe accord. You got to be very careful, when you're dealing with the Haitian people. Some of them, just like in the Bahamas now with all this violence, because I was in Haiti a number of times, and I remember being driven by the Minister of Immigration, Minister of Health, through the mountains in Haiti. Mm-hmm. And you know what I was told by the man? He said, now, listen, Joe, if you happen to hit, because the Haitians, they just walk across the road and they always looking out to get hit. And he said, hit one of them, no matter how serious it is, he said, you do not stop, because if you stop, you'll be chopped up. So you know what I said to the Minister then of Health? because we were there on a human rights thing, and he was the minister who was dealing with us there. I said, I stopped that vehicle and I said, you drive this vehicle, because I could never do that to a human being. So, we got to look at this in terms of what has been destroyed in Haiti. Get the European countries who devastated that country with all the riches that they had, let them make monetary contributions to have proper facilities put up in Haiti, protecting all of these people. And I don't agree with us sending armed people to Haiti, our police officers or our defense force. To me, that is ridiculous, because they're not going to be safe there. And so set up proper things in Haiti where these people can be taken back to, and we could have oversight by the United Nations, by different countries, to make sure that the facilities are properly run and that these people are be treating in a humane manner until they have a systematic, organized, protective government start in Haiti. I mean, that's simple. Even a dumb person like Joe Darville can come up with something resolution.
No, but Darville, you are actually correct, right? What happens is the line, the scrimmage line is less than 300 miles from the tip of Cuba out past TCI. So that's a straight line. And so if you remove the Cuba boundary and you remove the TCI boundary, we have about 100 miles of a straight line to monitor. But let's say we can cover from Cuba to past TCI. 300 miles. A drone, a water drone, in case you don't know, we don't just talk about drones, there's drones over there for less than what we paid for our ship that don't have to come into harbor for 45 days. Just goes back and forth and will actually detect even the smallest craft on top of the water. If you go for an aerial drone, at the 300 miles this way and 300 miles back, the drone probably could stay for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. Will give us every single thing we know. The technology, when we say going for drug era, we are so far advanced right now, it's unbelievable. So we can't set up a technology bridge to stop it. And so if they really want us to help us, then give us the $100 million so we can buy these drones, and train us to operate it. There's a whole lot of things that's available to us, but we can do it ourselves. If we would actually move to regularize our economy before we start even regularizing people, because we're regularizing people into poverty. And so we just have to have a conversation beyond the midget with the megaphones who claim to know what to do and never say what it is to be done. And so let's have a conversation on immigration laid out in the same way. When you talk about immigration, it includes the citizenship issue that's just been added to it, It includes all of these different things. And so what they do is they keep us going from chaos to chaos. They mislabel the crisis. You can't fix it. He said it. Shanty said, you can't manage what you cannot measure. But you cannot measure what you refuse to acknowledge. So as long as we do not acknowledge the problem, we will never be able to manage it. So I'm simply saying, let's identify a shanty town exactly what it is, a housing crisis. Let's examine the work permits and everything for what it is, a crisis of labor. Okay? And so when you look at all of those different things, it comes to a crisis of the economy, which then makes it a big, fat lie. And so this way, the problem we have is that we've been living in lies for so long, we're beginning to believe it to be true. I'm saying let's have this social contract that, with all due respect, the Progressive Liberal Party promised us for 50 years of this anniversary that we would have the political power, economic power, and social power. Well, I see proof of the political power, that even though it's been abused, I don't see the social contract that's being met, and I don't see the economic contract that's being met. And so I'm simply saying maybe it's time that we purge ourselves of the independence generation and have the 2 or 3 generations since to create a strategy for the social contract, which is the housing and all these social things, and for the economic contract that is needed for the development of the Bahamas, because it requires 21st century thinking. And what we have is 20th century leaders using 19th century concept trying to govern a 21st century country.
Okay, I have to take a break, but I have a message coming in on Facebook from Vernon, who says the question must be asked. Let's have a conversation with who?
Ourselves.
We're gonna take this break because some people are the view that we tired talking now. It's enough talk. We've been talking for 50 years, kicking this can down the road for 50 years, because this has been going on for decades. This ain't just start. Y'all remember one man named Loftus Roker? Oh, okay. How long ago was that? He didn't warn us of this problem.
40.
Oh,
yeah.
okay then.
Yep.
All right then. This thing go with sense. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Last is love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
I think I was too ambitious when I said that we would be covering this whole question of citizenship as well. I think I was overly ambitious because clearly we haven't been able to get to that. So I'm just going to read the breaking news as it relates to citizenship, and then I guess we're going to have to tackle this tomorrow and maybe try to arrange a show for next week. But the breaking news is that the Privy Council has ruled that children born out of wedlock in the Bahamas to biological Bahamian fathers and foreign mothers are citizens of the Bahamas at birth and do not have to wait until 18 years old to apply for citizenship. Prime Minister Philip Davis, via a statement from London, says, "I would like to express my support and commitment to ensuring that our country's laws and policies are fair and just for all Bahamians." He continued, "The Privy Council's decision marks an important step towards ensuring equal citizenship rights for all children, irrespective of their parents' marital status. It is expected to impact the lives of many individuals in our nation positively. As Prime Minister, I am dedicated to building a more inclusive and equitable Bahamas. That's a show within itself. I really thought that we'd be able to get to it today, but that was wishful thinking. That's a show within itself. And I know, Cialan, your video is frozen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly why, but just let me put this for the time. I'm saying, Michelle, that Citizen Show is very easy because it's going to flip the argument concerning discrimination against women. I'll say that for another show.
Yeah, we got to plan our show for next week. But my biggest question as it relates to that is this. Does the Privy Council ruling, or do they believe that they have the authority to overwrite what is in the Constitution of the Bahamas? Now, I am not saying that the masses do not agree with the decision. That's not the point here. The point I'm trying to make is that ruling, from what I understand, with all the classes that we do here every Monday with Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson, that ruling is in direct contravention of what is included already in our Constitution.
No, it can't be if it's already included. It can't. But it was clarified. Understand this. It clarified a single statement of the word parent, where in the other instances it referred to the father and the mother. And so the problem is that we kept interpreting the parent to mean that you must be married. We added another statute. This is an argument I've made since 1986 when my first daughter was born. We kept using the common law of a child of no father, and we applied that to that particular thing when we were basically saying, because the child has no father, we're taking no effort to justify or verify who the father is. But that's a really good discussion for us to have.
Yeah, we got to talk about this next week. Joe, you had raised your finger. You wanted to say something on this.
No, I was just going to say that I think the Privy Council can make a recommendation that we have a referendum, if necessary, to change that.
I see.
Because we're dealing with that in a different manner.
But this is just their opinion, in other words. This is
no. This is a ruling. They did make recommendations concerning some other discrepancies that we kept bleeding into the other. They ruled exclusively on the word parent. If you look at it,
how does the Privy Council get in a position to be ruling on our Constitution?
No, listen to me, please. No, our Supreme Court ruled that parent means both, and it did not signify something with a child of no father. A rule. We took it to our appellate court. Our appellate court ruled that yes, parent means both, and so we went to the Privy Council for a third opinion, and we got a third opinion. Both of our courts already ruled exactly as the Privy Council ruled.
But do we not have to change, if we want to make any changes to the Constitution as written, does that not have to go to referendum?
We did not change anything in the ruling.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was born before, way back there, ages ago, because my father was from West Africa, my mother was Bahamian, and I was born in 1941, so I guess I was under the British age, so I had British citizenship, so automatically Bahamian.
Michelle, that ruling says mother's baby, daddy's maybe, except in number 6. And so we have to now shift our conversation because they did give some clarification on the other 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever, even number 14. It's a beautiful
Michelle, you better get a constitutional lawyer on when we're dealing with this.
He's on every Monday. We do a
constitutional
class, a master class on the Constitution every single Monday. And
not that I want to be on that, but I would like to listen on that if you.
Yeah, man, tune in, because I know Monday show can be hot based on this.
Right.
I mean, because
Michelle, let me use my minute to say this. Bahamians, let's have clarification on our Shantytown issue. Let's have clarification on our immigration issue. Let's have clarification on our economic issue. And so we can have clarification on the way forward in this 50th year. Let's stop being gaslighted.
All right, that's the time. Gentlemen, I
Thanks,
love
Michelle.
appreciate you both. Thank you so
Thanks,
much
Alan.
for agreeing to
Yeah.
be a part of this discussion today. See, Alan, we out of time. I can't let you say anything else because I got
Thank you, Donald. My long
Thank you, Trustee Allen. That was 2 hours already?
2 hours.
My.
Next week we'll tackle the citizenship question as it relates to the Constitution. But right now, I got to go. It's less than a minute to 4. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Our time is gone. Don't miss tomorrow's show, when it'll be an open line show where we talk about the week that was, and I'm pretty sure the citizenship thing is going to come up tomorrow as well. But until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Have a good afternoon, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Check my WhatsApp message.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed